Which WWE superstar is on their way back potentially to WWE, and which WWE superstar probably isn't coming back? We're going to talk about it in today's video, but our first topic, we're going to talk about KSI. Now, I know I don't typically talk about YouTubers on this channel, but Logan Paul was the big name that jumped ship to WWE, and then the other day we talked about Lele Pons, who reportedly turned down a $20 million deal. At least that's what they were saying. WWE had debunked that, by the way. But now KSI was asked in a new video that he uploaded whether or not he would come to the WWE. And he actually says no, he has no business to be in the WWE. Nope, 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 and nope. He has no plans to come to the WWE. Now, here's the thing. I just kind of wanted to point this out really quick because KSI is one of the largest YouTubers out there. He's also business partners with Logan Paul in the sense of doing Prime. He's also doing the influencer boxing stuff, potentially building up to a fight against Jake Paul. Maybe even Tommy Fury could be in the mix. Was supposed to fight Dylan Dennis, who's a Bellator fighter. Anyways, I know a lot of this is kind of, far and distant from pro wrestling, but KSI is a relatively big name, and his audience would definitely watch him in the WWE. However, I just want to make it a very clear point. Not everybody could transition to the WWE very well, and I'm not saying he would have a hard time transitioning to the WWE, but I don't want to see WWE become what influencer boxing is. You know what I mean? I think influencer boxing is a different genre for the boxing sport. I think no matter what, it definitely helps the sport of boxing, but I just think there's a lot of people who still like traditional boxing. Now, I personally prefer traditional wrestling, storytelling, things like that. Having celebrity involvement is always going to be okay with me, but when you're bringing in a whole bunch of influencers, getting involved in the product, I think that's where it could all go down in the wrong direction. So KSI telling the world, no, he has no plans to be in the WWE. I'm kind of happy about that, to be honest. Okay, nonetheless, we're going to keep on going. Zack Ryder, what's happening with Zack Ryder, Matt Cardona? We've talked about this for a while. Now, just a couple days ago, there was this new indie booking that was announced with Battleground Championship Wrestling, which announced that Cardona will square off against Bully Ray on their July 1st show. Now, just a couple days ago, everybody was talking about this, and I kind of held off on talking about this specific topic for two reasons. There's been a ton of mixed reporting in regards to Matt Cardona and his future. Some sources just a couple months ago said he signed to WWE, but, the debut and stuff is just it's just in the works. They'll eventually put him on TV whenever the case may be. Then there was other reports that said Matt Cardona was not coming back. Then also you had Matt Cardona himself go on social media teasing a whole bunch of stuff, saying a whole bunch of stuff, which obviously makes for a lot of social media engagement. Just as somebody who's a fan of Matt Cardona, Zack Ryder, I've said in previous videos, I would like to see him back in WWE. I think he would be a really good signing for the WWE. I think he would be an incredible piece for the WWE, especially considering that Chelsea Green is on TV every single week. Plus, she's doing the manager gimmick, where she's a Karen, right? So I just think there could be a lot of great ways to bring in Matt Cardona. Matt Cardona has publicly said before, his goal would be to obviously get back there. Who I think everybody kind of knows deep down inside, WWE has always been the biggest company, right? And I'm not here to speak for Zack Ryder or Matt Cardona, but I just think he's had some really good moments in his WWE career. And now that he left the WWE, went out, and he kind of did the same thing, as Zack Ryder, as Drew McIntyre, Jinder Mahal, Cody Rhodes, right? They leave the company, they come back, and they do really well. I just think there's an opportunity for Zack Ryder in WWE. Now, here's the thing, though. I say Zack Ryder, but realistically, I don't want to see the Zack Ryder gimmick in WWE. I do want to make that very clear. I want to see Matt Cardona in WWE. Everything he's done on the indies has been really cool, but I just think it would be great to see it on TV. And I've also said I welcome the idea of seeing this on AEW. What he was doing on Impact was great. I thought his work in Impact was great as well. Now, some of the stuff that he's been doing in GCW is great too. Just overall, a big fan of Matt Cardona. I think what he does could potentially work in the WWE. And that leaves me to one more thing I want to say with Matt Cardona and WWE. There are some rumors on the internet that suggest potentially that Matt Cardona, Zack Ryder, could be a major return for WWE after WrestleMania. This would be the Raw after WrestleMania. These rumors I want to take with a grain of salt because of that indie appearance that's been booked for July 1st. But I also want to make it very clear, just because there's an indie booking, and we've seen this in the past, where some wrestlers got to still work those indie bookings, or they would just cancel their bookings because they signed. There is a very good chance that Matt Cardona could be in the WWE at Raw after WrestleMania. And on top of that, this would be one of those things where his indie booking could be pushed aside or whatever it may be. Just 2 cents there. Now we got to get to our main event story of the day. Ladies and gentlemen, we are talking about Kairi Sane. This WWE superstar left WWE. She chose not to resign. She went back to Japan, did a lot of great things. Now she's a free agent, and this is actually really cool. So she just did an interview with WrestlingNews.co. Steve Fall, you guys may have seen some of his interviews in the past, basically spoke to Kairi Sane. Keep in mind, they did have to use an interpreter for this. But basically what it comes down to is there was a couple things in the interview that were transcribed, and the topic of her being able to come back to WWE was asked on if the door is open for a WWE return. She says that Vince always told her that the door is always open. She's always welcome to come back, and if she comes back one day, she will team up with Asuka again, team up with Io Sky, or maybe against Io Sky. Who knows? Very interesting answer, but the reason why we're talking about Kairi Sane coming back to WWE is because WWE's plans for WrestleMania and after WrestleMania don't include too many new signings. The idea is that there shouldn't be any shock factor unless it's either NXT call-ups or talent that were previously signed to the company returning to the company. So this would obviously be a pretty major return. And yes, WWE's women's division is kind of suffering right now. They have great talent on paper. They have 2 really big matchups for WrestleMania, but there's a lot of people out there that are just kind of wrestling and they don't really have big stories figured out for them. You have Chelsea Green doing something really cool, and it doesn't really matter if she wins or loses. She's constantly on TV. Piper Niven could be on TV, which is great, and we're seeing the same thing with Nikki Cross and select people. But some of these things that we're seeing on TV don't matter, and I think the best way to do that is just by loading up your roster, creating compelling stories. And I think realistically, the truth is WWE is going to have to press the reset button after WrestleMania. I think deep down inside, that's what I've been saying for a really long time, is that Triple H inherited WrestleMania plans before he even took over the company. Yes, he may have filtered and changed some things and kind of, evaded certain plans, but for the most part, he was sticking to some of the things that was left for him, right? So I think we're going to see a huge change after WrestleMania. I think WrestleMania is the reset. Raw and SmackDown, NXT, I think we're going to see something really special. And if it means that Kairi Sane is back in WWE, I support it. She's a hell of a talent. She specifically talks about wanting to be back in America. She also did list some people that were in AEW as well. So if she was in AEW, I support that move as well. If she's in WWE, I support that move. If she wants to come to Impact Wrestling, I support that move as well. But if she is going to come back to America and move to America, I think it makes more sense to just be in WWE. She's familiar with WWE. She's worked in WWE, and she's very familiar with Triple H and his type of work. We'll see what happens, guys. I'll keep you guys updated along the way. Obviously, so many big things are happening in the world of wrestling. I'll keep you updated. WrestleMania week, Angomania live. It's going to be a huge spectacle, so make sure you guys stay tuned for all the post shows, pre-shows, prediction shows, and the news videos I'll be having on this channel next week.